Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Top Tips for Successful Fall Stewardship with Vanco and Concordia Technology Solutions. My name is Abby, and I am on our marketing team here at Vanco, and I am so excited to have you all joining us today as we talk about a variety of different ways as the weather gets cooler and fall rolls in that we can help set your church up for a successful fall season. But before we get started, there are just a few quick housekeeping items that I want to make sure we have an opportunity to address. So first up, all of our attendees today are in listen-only mode. With the number of attendees we have on our call today, we want to make sure that there is clear audio and eliminate as much background noise as possible. Now, that being said, we do highly encourage your participation throughout our presentation today, and you'll be able to participate with us in a few different ways. First off, we are going to do a series of poll questions to get to know you, our listeners, on the call. And then additionally, we're also going to have our question box open throughout our presentation today. So if at any point in time you have a question, feel free to drop that in the question box, and we will address that at the end of our presentation today. Additionally, we do have a few different handouts that are available for our call today, and I'll be talking about those as we go through our presentation, but feel free to take a minute and either download those now, otherwise we'll also have those available in your follow-up email after the call as well. So let's take a look at our agenda for today. We're going to start with our welcome and introductions. As I mentioned, we'll move into those poll questions to get to know you, our listeners on the call. And then from there, we're going to dive into the secrets of successful fall stewardship, giving your church a few different ideas of ways that you can set yourself up for a successful fall season. We'll introduce you to a few Vanco tools that can also help you along that journey. And then we will turn things over to our partners at CTS and Rob, who you'll meet here in just a little while. We'll do a demonstration of how Vanco integrates with both Church 360 and Shepards staff. And then finally, we'll end today, as I mentioned, with our question and answer session, giving you all an opportunity to ask and answer any of those questions that you have throughout our presentation today. Get started with our first poll question for today. And I'm going to launch this up on our screen, and we'll start with something easy here. What is the role within the church that you represent? So take a minute and let us know. Are you in the pastor, lay leader, which could be deacon, elder, church council member? We've got church administration, which might be administrator or office manager. And then we have that treasurer or finance committee member on the end. So again, take a minute, let us know what best describes your role within the church. I'll give everyone about 5 more seconds to get your answers in, and then we'll share these results out. Excellent. Well, thank you all for your active participation here. Again, let me share. And it looks like we have quite the spread on our call today. 35% of you are in that treasurer or finance committee role. We've got 29% in church administrator, followed by that remaining 36% either in lay leader or pastor. So again, thank you for sharing that with us. One more question before we dive into our main presentation for today, and that is, what is your church's weekly attendance? We've got 1 to 99, 100 to 199, 200 to 299, or 300 plus. And I always love asking this question. We work with a variety of different sized churches here at Vanco, but we know that different sizes sometimes have nuances of how they operate or challenges that they experience. So it's always great to have this background so we can personalize throughout our presentation where applicable. Excellent. You guys are getting the hang of these poll questions. So let's share this out and we'll take a look at what we've got here. So we have, looks like the majority of you, 65% in that 1 to 99 range, followed by 30% in our 100 to 199 range. So again, a big thank you to all of you for your active participation in those poll questions. Again, really helps myself and Rob as we get to know you, our listeners, on our call today. So let's get started. As we talked about in the beginning of our presentation here, one of the main topics that we want to cover with all of you today are our secrets for successful fall stewardship. And in this part of our presentation, we're going to cover a couple different things. We're going to start with talking about some baseline rules that we recommend here at Vanco to think about as you are planning for the fall season. And then we're going to share with you some ways that you can increase stewardship throughout the fall season, utilizing either some Vanco tools or some other tools that you'll have at your disposal within the church. So let's get started with the idea of setting your church up for a fall successful stewardship season. And one of the things that we most often talk about when you are prepping for any sort of a stewardship plan is to think about these 8 items. The first one being make stewardship about doing. We're going to talk about this in our presentation today, but how can you make stewardship not just about donation, but also about donating time and talents in addition to treasure. We're going to talk about how do you put your heart into stewardship. So often today, people have a variety of different options for things that they're able to donate to. And so really playing on that storytelling aspect, that opportunity for you to explain the why can really help as you are sharing your cause. Additionally, make sure you are making stewardship about the cause. So when we talk about that, we're going to discuss how you can be sharing your story, sharing the impact, what you are hoping to accomplish with those funds that you are raising. Again, really making sure that the members and visitors in your church understand why you are putting on the stewardship drive and the impact that you're looking to make. Additionally, you want to make stewardship ongoing. I know many churches in the fall have a stewardship weekend, but how can you think about sharing that message in weeks coming up to your stewardship weekend and in those following, since not everyone's able to make it to church every Sunday? How can you continue to capitalize on that energy and keep stewardship a top of mind item throughout the weeks and months? Additionally, make sure you are making stewardship pragmatic. And in that, I highly recommend one of your first steps when you are setting yourself up for a successful stewardship plan is set goals and involve the right people. We have seen with the churches that we work with, when they have a clearly defined goal in place and they have included the right stakeholders in that decision to set that goal, they're able to be successful because they have the right champions and the right individuals to help them execute on the plan that they've laid out in order to accomplish that goal. Additionally, make sure you are understanding why and how people give. Some of this we'll cover in our conversations about why storytelling is impactful, but additionally, make sure you understand what are the different ways that my members or visitors prefer to give to the church, and do we have those methods available? Or how can we help to make those methods available for our members? And then lastly, when you're thinking about that successful fall stewardship season, make sure you are putting an emphasis on communication and don't be afraid to get creative with those methods of communication or your messages. Oftentimes we think about those standards of incorporating it into your sermon, adding it in email or the church bulletin, but what are some ways you might be able to think outside the box on your creativity and make sure everybody is aware of the causes, the work you're doing, and how they can help to assist in those processes? So we've covered a lot of different rules to think about when you are setting yourself up for successful fall stewardship. But additionally, we wanted to help brainstorm with you some different ways that you can generate funds for stewardship. And on this first slide here, we're going to cover the one that probably most often comes to mind, which is increasing tithing. And then on the following slide, we're going to give you some other ideas, again, to help you be creative and think outside the box. So a very common way that people think about when they are looking to generate funds for stewardship is by increasing tithing. And While it's commonly an idea that comes to mind, it's not the most simplest when you put it into action. And we've acquired a list here of different ways that we've seen churches be successful in increasing tithing over the course of our 20 years with working with over 25,000 churches. And a couple of the ones that we see work most successfully is leading by example. Make sure that those leaders within your church are following the example that you want other members and visitors to replicate. Are they participating in online giving? Have they set up that giving to be a recurring donation? And when you're thinking about your ask, are you incorporating an ask for a monthly or a bi-weekly donation to a cause that you care about? Another great way to increase tithing is to make sure you're showing gratitude as well as following up with what you were able to accomplish through the funds that people have previously donated. That financial transparency and the feeling of being a part of a change can really help to encourage repeat donations. So lots of other ideas and examples on ways to increase tithing, but those I would say are a few of my most favorite when thinking about churches I've worked with in the past. So I promised you additional ways to generate funds for stewardship. So here are 10 more ways that your church can think about increasing funds as you're moving into the fall. We have everything from fundraising to themed giving campaigns, encouraging memorial or legacy gifts. We have renting out your facility. And then again, we talked about this on the first page, but matching your members with how they want to give, which might include online giving, and making the ask for a frequency or a recurring donation at the church. We've talked about some rules to keep in mind when you're setting up your stewardship plan. We have talked about different ways to generate funds for stewardship, but I want to end our conversation today with a few key steps that your church can take when you're thinking about creating the perfect stewardship plan for your church, whether that kicks off in the fall or kicks off at the beginning of the year. So we talked about this earlier, but the number one item I always encourage you to start with when you're making a stewardship plan is set your annual goals and formulate a budget. Make sure you understand what are your goals that you are hoping to accomplish this year and have all the key stakeholders within the church agree upon those goals. From there, we can get into some of those next steps, such as planning your outreach, gathering testimonials to inspire giving, getting a team together to explore stewardship opportunities, and talking with those within the church, like your pastor and your lay leaders, about how this is going to get incorporated into sermon topics or other conversations within the church. Once we've covered those different tasks, then we can get into more of the execution steps. And that's where we can look at incorporating your church management tools. We're going to have Rob on here in just a little bit to talk about Church 360 and Shepards staff. What are some of those ways that you can utilize the communication tools within those softwares to get the message out, but also to utilize our integration in order to understand who is giving, what they're giving to, and how those gifts are coming in. This is a new one that we've added in the past couple of years, but when you're thinking about that stewardship plan, how are you also expanding that to include not just those that are physically within the church, but those who may be joining in an online worship or joining your church for a live stream? And then lastly, to make sure that you are not just focusing on your existing members, but again, thinking about how are you bringing those conversations surrounding stewardship into your new member training to make sure that all members are aware of the great causes that you are supporting and the different ways that they're able to support your church. Now, I know we have covered a significant amount of information and tips and tricks in our time together already. And I talked about our handouts earlier. So if you have been interested in something that you've heard so far, or you want to learn more about how to put some of these steps into action, in our handout section today, we do have the complete guide to church stewardship. This is a great ebook that your church can utilize, again, as you're planning for either the fall or later on this year to put a stewardship plan in place and talk about how you are going about raising funds for the missions that you're passionate about, as well as communicating this out with your members. So we will have this available in our follow-up email as well, so feel free to download this now, or you'll have an opportunity to access it again later as well. So the other thing in our conversation at the beginning of our presentation today was not only are we going to be talking about different ways that your church can put together a stewardship plan, but additionally, we're going to be talking about some Vanco tools that can help your church as you are going about that journey in order to help it be easy for members and visitors to donate to the causes that you're passionate about. So I'm going to transition us here momentarily over to Vanco Valley Community Church, and this is a demo teaching site that we created here at Vanco to really help churches as they are either building a website for their first time, reevaluating what content to put on their website. And it also serves as an example of some best practices that relates to your online giving pages. So for our presentation today, we're going to be spending some time by the Give Now button, and I have our online giving page already pulled up here, but as you can see, this is Vanco Valley Community Church's giving page. And I want to take a minute for those of you who may be Vanco clients already. Some of you may be thinking, this looks very different from my online giving page that I have with Vanco today. And you're right. Over the past couple of years, we have updated our online giving pages to make them more story focused and more image heavy. This allows you an opportunity to truly tell the story and the impact of what your church is hoping to accomplish and the great missions that you're carrying out. So through this process, we've been working with our clients to slowly transition them over to our new pages so they're able to take advantage of that storytelling aspect. So you'll have an opportunity during our question and answer session to learn a little bit more about how you can get on our new Vanco online pages if you're not there already. But let's take an opportunity to take a look at what is going on in Vanco Valley Community Church today. You can see we've got a variety of different giving opportunities that my members or visitors can engage with. Everything from Sunday offering, we have altar flowers, food shelf donations, some tickets to an upcoming pancake breakfast that we're hosting, as well as our playground fund down here on the bottom. So if I'm looking to make a donation, I'm going to start by clicking on that giving opportunity. And it's going to take me to a page where, again, I can learn more about what the church is hoping to accomplish with this giving opportunity, where that money is going, maybe previous impacts that they've made through this fund. If it's something like our food shelf donation tile, it could include different opportunities for me to get involved and donate my time in addition to my treasure. Again, really an opportunity for your church to share the message that's important to you, as well as to use your own pictures if it makes sense. Again, really making this feel personal and bringing your great work to life. With the Sunday Offertory, I'm going to set up a $100 donation, and this is going to occur monthly. And I'm going to have this donation start on Sunday. From here, I have an opportunity to add this to my basket, and it'll ask me if there is a different tile that I want to donate to in addition. And maybe in this scenario, I want to purchase altar flowers in honor of Grandpa Thompson, and I can add that to my basket as well. So you can see I have that one-time donation as well as my monthly Sunday offering. If it makes sense, I can continue to donate to those giving opportunities or purchase a ticket that maybe I have been meaning to purchase, or I can continue to payment. Once I continue to payment, it's going to load over on this side an opportunity for me to enter in my credit or debit card or a bank account. And additionally, I can toggle on that additional percentage in order to help offset any of those fees associated with online giving. And as a member, I'm going to get credit for that full donation amount, including that offset fee at the end of my end of year contribution statement. Now from here, once I've entered my contact information and my credit card, I'm going to simply click continue to review, and then I'll have an opportunity to submit my gift. And it's really just that simple in order for me to make a gift and then return to the home screen from there. One other item that I love to touch on in the fall time especially is if you are rolling out new stewardship programs, don't forget to let your members know that they also have the power to share those giving opportunities that they are passionate about with others within their network. So you'll notice we now have this opportunity to share either your site or a specific tile within your giving pages. Again, giving your members the opportunity to share out either causes that they're donating to or causes that they're passionate about with their social networks or via email. So again, a really great way for you to encourage your members to talk about those giving opportunities that they're passionate about and be voices for your church within the community. So we took an opportunity today to, again, give a gift through our Vanco online tool and talk about some different ways that you can get ready for the fall season. But now I am super excited to be passing things over to Rob at Concordia Technology Solutions, and he's going to show us how to take those gifts that we've given and import them into your CTS solutions. So Rob, thanks for joining us, and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Abby, so much, and thank you everyone else for being here today. So I'm going to walk you through how to integrate your Church 360 members and Shepherd staff software into and pull what you're generating on offerings from your Vanco account. So give me just a moment. I'm going to try to show my screen here. And let's see. Does that look good? Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Abby. All right. So just quick introduction on me. My name is Rob Davidson. Losing my presentation here. Here we go. I'm the brand new manager of digital products of Concordia Technology Solutions, the software division of Concordia Publishing House. I'll be walking us through as best I can the Church 360 members and Shepherd staff Vanco integration. Shepherd staff is our traditional PC-based church management software, typically used by churches that like a very comprehensive approach that is accessible from a single PC, where Church 360 is our very fluid, easy to use, web-based counterpart. And I'll be starting with Church 360 and then showing you Shepherd staff today. Be warned though, I am still new at CTS. I started in April, so while I'll be showing you how powerful this integration is, our amazing support team will be able to walk you through the specific nuances of the product and ensure it works perfectly for you and your team in much more detail. And before we begin, can I just say how awesome it is to work with a team like Vanco? Not only are they an organization filled with great-hearted people, but it is so easy to see why they do what they do when you see the average increases in yearly donations churches receive when using their products, which then makes them more sustainable for pastors and churches to do what they do best, shepherding their congregation and spreading the good news of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So, what does it mean to integrate with an e-giving partner? As we all know, COVID made it very difficult for people to give in the traditional ways that they were used to, which opened up a way for us to really have this need to give in the most flexible ways possible in order for our churches to be as sustainable as possible. And so e-giving during the pandemic, churches that thrived were ones that made it most convenient for members to give as technology develops and allowed them to do it. Vanco is one of the best options in the market to do just that. And simply put, it automatically brings over your electronic gifts into offering batches. The key phrase here being automatically, meaning after setup, it brings in all this information to you so you can track where you're getting it, and with Vanco, get it in the most friendly way donated from your congregation. So, what are the core reasons why here? Let's be pragmatic a little bit. Your congregation is incredibly busy. They're rushing around with kids, trying to, remember the checks that they have planned to bring in to Sunday service. Attendance patterns change, and everyone within the economy, inflation, all the changes out there in the world, personal budgeting, is in flux. So making it easy on them to be able to donate in the most intuitive way possible is super, super important for you and your church. As well as Abby was showing earlier with the different tiles, you have different funds that you're raising money for in your church. So encouraging people to give by identifying the causes and reasons behind the gifts help you have a stronger call to action when you're calling for contributions and stewardship from your church. So two more reasons, quick reasons why. One, so like I mentioned before, traditionally people would have to wait often till a church service in order to have an offering plate passed around to give. Being able to do that electronically means that they can give to your church whenever the need, want, or desire strikes them, meaning that you can connect it with your social media posts, the emails that you put out to your entire congregation newsletter, meaning whether or not, when they get their paycheck on Friday, they can be ready to give, or when they do budgeting on a weeknight. It doesn't just have to be coordinated to their busy weekend schedule. And that makes it easier and quicker to manage than traditional physical contributions. It saves your staff time, because instead of counting the dollars and cents and checks and then having to manage that into the church treasury, all of it comes easily accessible and trackable through your church management software and Vanco giving environment. So what e-giving products are included with the Church 360? So when you're using Church 360, the Vanco import will pull anything from your Give Plus, Simply Giving, or Joyful Response Vanco accounts. And then to get set up, you'll need your username and password. And since we're dealing with finances, it's important to have a secure username and password combination, as we all know in 2022. But it's also important to note to make sure that that login information is different than the ones that you're using between members and Vanco. If you're using the same, both are less secure. So using two different ones, make sure that your church's financial information is as secure as possible. And if you don't have it already, to get your username and password from Vanco after you have an account, contact Vanco at cs@vancopayments.com or 800-675-7430, option 1. So let's get into it. So everyone can see my shared screen here. I have our Church 360 suite. We're in very naturally the people view. So we're going to go over to our settings and then click the Vanco integration little tab here. And we'll see that to get set up, because it takes a second, I logged into our test account with Vanco with my client and user ID and password. And we pulled then a sync from 2010. So depending on how you want to batch what comes into Church 360 or Shepards staff, you're going to have to change that date from your offerings of the data you want to pull into this environment. So the first thing you're going to want to do, again, so it's a one-time setup. So I'm going to show you what you're going to do in order to get this set up and make it as easy as possible for you. So we are going to start with syncing your givers. So you'll see here that we have some people that we're pulling their information from what they've donated to Vanco, right? And we haven't yet matched them up to a member within Church 360 members. So we're going to go ahead and click Rob Calloway here. And then we're going to type in his name and then click link. And now every time that Rob, not me, Rob Calloway, every time he donates, we'll be able to track that to his person information in Church 360. So that gives you the ability to see which of your members are being most active, being able to understand why, and then that allows you to change what you're doing on outreach accordingly. So then we'll go ahead, we'll do one more. We will link Alicia. So we'll look at that, and it looks like they are contributing as a family here. And there we go, we're all linked up. So the next part of this is, go back to this, is your funds. So your funds are the different causes that you're raising money for with your offerings. So let's go ahead, the general fund, that's a really important one. So let's go ahead and search this, just very similar to setting up givers. We'll go ahead and hit link. And then I know church at large, that's already set up, perfect. Go ahead and link that. Let's do youth group just for the youth fund. There we go. So again, now you never have to link these again. These are set up and you'll be able to track that in the offering. So we'll go over to the offering view and then we'll see our graphing doesn't work right now in our staging setup. So ignore that. You'll be able to see the fluctuations in your view in Church 360 members. But our test account, it doesn't show that. But you'll be able to see here that everyone that's donated to these funds, right, as we have listed here, and you'll be able to track that information. So you can also filter this, and we'll go summaries by fund, and you'll be able to see the total giving, right, by each fund. So then we'll go to, I know, church at large, and then we can break this out and then go back to offerings, and we can see everyone who's then donated in and given an offering into the church at large section. You can see here, Robert Calloway, we set him up, and we can see he gave $25 on November 1st. And so again, you'll be able to track this and make your giving process so much more intuitive, because you'll be able to see what was the most successful outreach programs you had, and then be able to create more initiatives that really connect with your congregation. So in that, we ran through that piece really quickly. Is there anything else that would be helpful to see? Oh, and we can also then do this by giver and track what families that we have set up and how much they're giving in total, and whether or not they're giving by a single person or by individuals. We see individual here with Robert, and then marriage for a lot of these. So then, is there anything else? Oh, so as you can see here, so it limits the mistakes and worries when you're able to pull data from Vanco, which enables you to have that e-giving done so seamlessly, and then you're able to track it on the Church 360 side flawlessly in order to give you the best feel of what's going on to the health of your church's finances. Again, it's automatic after you first set this up, means it's a super easy way to do this. And ultimately, your church treasurer will be thanking you for making it easier on them. Some quick frequently asked questions, and these are both for I believe Church 360 and Shepherd staff, is how much does the integration cost? And it costs absolutely free. So if you have a Church 360 members account or a Shepherd staff program on your computer, and you already have a Vanco account, setting up the integration costs absolutely nothing. So how do you account for the processing fees is another question. And so it comes over as a separate fund, and then you can educate the congregation on the ability to add a bit more and cover the fee like Abby showed you earlier. the giver should get credit for it as an offering, and that's what you're able to do by syncing their people data with the offerings that are given. And so, and again, if you need any help setting this up, our CTS software support at their email support@cts.cph.org will be able to help you out and set this up and make it as easy as possible for you and your team. They can also be reached at 800-346-6120. All right, so moving through, now let's set up Shepherd staff. So I have that up here, and hopefully let's just make sure you can see. Yeah, perfect. And so right here, we're in the contribution section of Shepherd staff. Again, this is our PC-based software versus our web-based software. And then I went into batches, and then I clicked import, and I have us set up here. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure that we're logged into our Vanco account with our password and IDs here. Then we're going to want to make sure that our offering range is set up, right? So then we can download and pull that information down. And I'm going to show you how we troubleshoot all of the information that comes in that guides you into making sure that your information is connecting with your Shepherd staff software. So right here, we double click this, we'll see that this record belongs to our friend Rob Calloway, and it's showing the status here as an invalid envelope and an invalid funds. So let's go ahead and troubleshoot that. So the envelope is going to be based on his specific contribution. So let's go down and let's find Calloway. He's right here. And we'll see that he needs a Vanco ID. So I have this down on my piece of paper in front of me. So bear with me for just a moment. So it's 249799780. And we're going to go ahead and that should take care of that. And I think that automatically oh, no, click the save button right here. All right. And now let's go back to batches, import Vanco, and I got to reactivate my test accounts. You don't have to worry about this step. And then making sure this is still the date range I want, more or less. We'll download again. And you'll see here that the syncing is happening and it's being brought in. While we wait, you can see that after we download this and we make sure all the data is talking and connecting, that we can then make an offering batch, right? And so the four different ways to filter your offering batch are to note them as unposted and not in a batch already, whether or not they cannot be posted, or in a batch waiting to be posted or already posted. So that helps identify where in the offering batching process your funds are. So you'll see down here that we've gotten rid of the invalid envelope issue here with all of Rob's donations. And now we still just have to worry about this invalid fund piece. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pause here. We're gonna jump over to our Vanco account. So I'm gonna have to get logged in, I believe. Oh, nope, I think we're ready to roll. So this is our My Vanco in their payment solution portal. So we're gonna go down to manage funds. So you'll see here, we have all of the funds that we are working with and people are contributing to. So let's go down and look at them in Shepherd staff and see what the problem is. Oh, so look at this. So we go down and we see their ID number here, and they're going down in sequential order. And so let's see church at large, right? That's where I believe Rob Calloway is donating to, and that's marked as 11. Let's go back to this view, and we see right here that church at large is marked at 1011. So let's go ahead and edit that and save it back as 11 and then confirm. Okay, and then we'll see church at large has been moved to number 11. Let's go back to Shepherd staff. We'll batch this in, go back to import. I have to reset that up. And we're going to download another batch. Hopefully that date has the right stuff. I'll have to tweak that. Too quick on the trigger. Oh, let's go ahead and widen that out a little bit more. First, re-download. Yeah, it's thinking a little bit more. So let's go through my notes here. So here we go. Almost done. Thank you for your patience. All right, and there we go. So now we'll see these statuses are no longer invalid envelope or invalid fund, and they're all ready to become a batch. So we'll go ahead and, oh, and I had a couple extra notes on these filters here. So unposted, like I said before, unposted and not in a batch is your default. This is all of the raw data that's ready to be processed from your Vanco database with your chosen date range. In a batch, that means that they're waiting to be posted. There are offerings that you've already pulled from Vanco but haven't posted yet, which like make them official within your financial view and cannot be posted. This is all your entries that have some kind of error in them, which I'll show you in a second, or I have just showed you how to navigate. And then posted means they've been downloaded from Vanco before, they've been processed and posted into your Shepherd staff database. So let's go ahead and create this batch, and we finished. And so there we go, we are all done. And you'll see here that we have some more batches from everything that we've pulled, and they are ready to be integrated into our Shepherd staff database. And that is just how easy it is to work with both Church 360 and Shepherd staff on pulling your Vanco information and organizing it and tracking it with your church management software. Partnered with a product like Vanco, both of our products are just leveled up even more so, and you really see that fluid connection between your congregants and the ability to manage their information through both of our software products. So hopefully everything today, I've shown you just a glimpse on how easy and quick it is to integrate your electronic giving through Vanco with our software. And now I'll hand it back to Abby to help answer any additional questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that great presentation there, Rob. And Rob, you covered so many things that were just so spot on. It really is just so simple in order to be able to set up the integration between Church 360 and Shepherd staff, as well as take advantage of it. And both of our companies are just so blessed and honored and happy that we can offer this as a service to all of you at no additional cost. So like Rob mentioned in the beginning, the one caveat to remember is if you are not yet utilizing the integration and you would like to get started, you do need to request a new set of credentials from Vanco. That process is really simple and painless. All you have to do is either email us at the email that's on the screen or give us a call. But again, you do need to reach out to us in order to acquire that username and password. It's going to be different from the username and password that you utilize to log into your Vanco platform today. So let's do just a few last housekeeping items, and then we'll dive into our final poll question, as well as any additional questions that you all may have. But I always like to talk at the end about some recommended next steps. I know we are quickly approaching fall and stewardship season, so if you have learned some things today that are interesting or things that you want to take advantage of, we always recommend 3 great next steps for churches to take advantage of. The first is requesting a personalized demonstration or e-giving page consultation. You can request this regardless of if you are an existing Vanco client or you're thinking about partnering with Vanco. With our existing clients that we have, we are invested in helping to make sure that you're utilizing our tools to their full extent, as well as helping your church grow. So if there are things that we can assist with, don't hesitate to request that consultation. From there, we're going to help you either select if you are new to the Vanco family and set up or optimize your giving tools, again, to help you in that next chapter of the year. And then from there, it's really as simple as sharing this out with your members to help you either increase donations or increase new givers at your church. Let's launch here our final poll question for today. And this one, again, just really helps us here at Vanco and CTS understand what best describes your next steps. So after this webinar, we have a couple different options. Those include, I'm ready to get started with Vanco Faith. Again, if you are an existing client and you want to get started with our new online giving pages, I encourage you to select this option. We have, I have questions I need answered by an e-giving consultant. I would like another demo for our church leadership team, or I plan to raise this at our next committee meeting. Now, I'll give you all about a minute to answer this final poll question. But in the meantime, if you have a question and you have not yet had an opportunity to submit it, now is a great time. And I highly encourage you, if you have a question and you're thinking about submitting it, go ahead, make that entry into the question box. Chances are, if you have this question, somebody else on the call does as well. So again, I'll give you all about 15 more seconds to get your final poll question submitted. And we will go from there. All right. Well, a big thank you to all of you for submitting that final poll question. And again, I'm going to actually leave our question page on this interested in finding out more section. So what we're going to do over the next couple of minutes is take a minute to answer any of those questions that really relate to anyone on the call. If you have a specific question that is specific to your church and your organization, I encourage you to utilize the contact information you see here for either Concordia Technology Solutions or Vanco, so we can help you. Additionally, we'll be doing our best to make sure we're triaging those questions to the right department after this call as well. So let's dive in. We've got a couple really great questions here that I know we've covered, but I want to reiterate. Some of you are asking again, what does pricing for Vanco look like? For our pricing, we are super transparent. For people who are evaluating Vanco, you can see our pricing on our website at vancopayments.com/egiving/pricing. If you're interested in pricing for that integration, like Rob mentioned earlier, that is included in your subscription for both Vanco and either Church 360 or Shepherd staff. The only thing that you have to do is reach out to us to request that information, and we will get it set up from there. The other question I am seeing in here, some of you are asking, is a QR code available for phones? And that's a great question. So as it stands today, we can help your church with creating a QR code for online giving pages. That's a great opportunity for you to put on bulletin inserts, posters, anything that you are handing out in the church. So we'd love to talk to you about that process. And it's something that we've seen a lot of success with the churches that we work with today. One other question that I'm seeing here, and then I'll toss it over to Rob for any last kind of frequently asked questions we want to answer or reiterate. Many of you are asking about a recording of our presentation today. And we did record our presentation. We'll be sending along a copy of that recording along with the handouts. Those will be available after our call today. It does take a little bit of time to process, so if you don't see that this afternoon, it'll be in your inboxes by tomorrow morning. So with that, Rob, I'll turn it over to you if there's any last questions or items you want to highlight.
Yeah, no, not too much. Again, thank you for this opportunity. We love showing off the connection between Church 360, Shepards staff, and Vanco. One of the things that we do get asked a lot is what kind of support is available from our side of setting up that integration piece. And there are multiple different ways, but our support team is available by both email and phone through all work hours. We have a team of 9 individuals in-house that are absolute experts in everything our products and Vanco related that are happy to help you, as well as we also have a little eye down in the bottom of our Church 360 software that'll connect you to the right resources, as well as kind of make it easy to get integrated with them with a chat. And again, this is just so easy. I'm super new. And so I had to learn how to do all this today. And I was able to get a hold of it with just like an hour max of walking through 2 different softwares and how to pull everything from Vanco. So it really is that easy to figure this out for your church.
Excellent. Thanks for those comments there, Rob. And again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us. So as we close down for the day, again, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for joining us on our call today. And thank you all for being Concordia Technology Solutions clients. And for those of you who partner with Vanco, we greatly appreciate you choosing us to help you further your missions and provide a platform for you to offer donations. Again, you'll be seeing a recording from us here over the next day of our presentation today. And if we have questions that we weren't able to have an opportunity to answer, we will take an opportunity to make sure that those are passed along to our e-giving consultants so they can address those as well. So on behalf of all of us here at Concordia Technology Solutions and Vanco, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to having you join us on another webinar here soon. Thanks, everyone.
God bless.